Okay, 1847, good luck. So we've not played before, no head-to-head score. Opponent has... oh, about the same, just about the same number of games I've done in Rapid. 794, and I'm just slightly over 800, so that's a good match. Now c6 you normally do b3 and g3. b6 you normally do g3 just as a principle. Yeah, let's do that straight away. That's the kind of normal principle, and you're trying to make sure you can take back if your opponent captures here. He might look to do this and remove the bishop. Let's just see what he does, but I'll stick to principle and I'll castle. Okay, now I could go the bishop either here. I could try and remove this defending bishop, or we can go here. So trade, queen or here, knight back looks fine. Yeah, I'm going to try and remove that defending bishop. Normally I would go to b2, so just sort of like that little tiny bit of variety. But nothing wrong with going to b2, that's a good principled move. And obviously you just got to pay attention to if the queen jumps here and hits the rook. So the knight won't be any good where it is now, so I want to bring the knight back. So d4 is a good principled move, d3 is, knight back immediately could be. I think I'm going to play d4 though, just try and challenge these pawn pushes. I've just got to watch out, like I say, if the attack to the knight, not forget it's unguarded. It's very easy to forget moves like that. Here we'll probably trade at some point. I don't see my knight getting to c4, so I'm just going to bring the knight back before I forget. Maybe even go to e3. You don't really want the knight in front of a pawn, but it chases the bishop a little bit. So is it worth doing? Knight across, back... I'm not sure it is actually, not sure it is. I'm going to just play e3 here. Now I'll move my queen to break this pin. Here I'm just going to take. Okay, that's what he's gone for. So actually, am I blundering here? Have I mixed my move order up here? If I take knight up, he can actually kick my knight. I might have gone a bit wrong there. So here I can't take now. So I need to move my queen. Okay, I guess I'll better step across then. Just break that pin. So now if he pushes, which he could do, he's got a really good position. Gone a little bit wrong with this one. Mixing my moves up a little bit. Although here, I mean, maybe I can trade at some point, but this should be a good position for black. I've gone a little bit wrong here. So we'll have a look after the game and see exactly how badly we've gone wrong. I don't need to think here, there's no other real moves to play. Bishop in could be a nuisance at some point, especially if you can get the queen down here somewhere. So I'm going to be focusing on, obviously, counterplay this side, but even that's risky. We've definitely gone wrong, haven't we? Can we fix it, or are we just busted? We could be. We could be just busted this game. How do I get counterplay? That I don't actually see. I might have to chuck these pawns up the board and just hope for the best whilst we see what black does on the king's side. He has played that bishop in move. Well, again, I don't need to think. There's not really anything much else I can do. Bishop back. Oh, he's gone there to hit the knight. What's he trying to do there? That allows me knight up now, and I can actually hit the bishop. Takes, I can still take back, and his bishop can't escape now. So we should be able to do this. So that feels like a mistake to me. It doesn't mean it is, but it feels like it. If I can get rid of that bishop, that's a bonus, especially if I can keep this one, and then I can come back at some point. So I take here. Try and take here. This pawn is still guarded. And then hopefully collect the pawn at some point. So it feels like he's miscalculated somewhere, like I've done. I've definitely gone wrong somewhere in the opening. Well, that's what it feels like anyway. So like I say, we'll check after the game. But bishop down now, if I don't take here, could be useful anyway. But I'm just looking at simple chess. Just take, do this, try and collect the pawn if we can do. Here, probably push on. Maybe you can just blast, but I'll just take the bishop first. Here, I think we take. You'll have to take back. Then we take here. Take, maybe queen up and just hit the pawn. So he has come forward, so I'm going to take there first and then probably push on. probably push on. Has he got a trick here though? He doesn't. He does take as he should. So we've got a pawn here, but we can push on. They're my candidate moves. If I take here, rook across, and I come back, you can then take here, take here, and my structure is all shattered, isn't it? I could play queen up though, go directly for this pawn. If you take, I can then take back, and I guard my rook, and I'm hopefully going to win this pawn. If I push on here, it allows knight in. Is that a problem? Possibly. Yeah, I'm going to play queen up. I'll pre-move to take back there. Okay, so he has come over, so I assume I just collect the pawn here. Down, I just take. Here, I mean, maybe he's got a trick like knight down, but I think I just step back to where I am. Let's get rid of that pawn, just so we don't ultimately forget about it. Pre-move in case he takes the rook. Again, knight to e5 could be a move. If we take, rook takes, we can't take back. He's come forward with a queen. So that might allow a rook across, but again, you can take in and we've wasted a move. Pawn forward looks nice with a tempo on the queen, but it concedes ground, doesn't it? Maybe take and then rook across, pressure the pawn. Ah, that looks like a nice plan, actually. Take first and then across, and we can double attack the pawn. He might have to take with a knight here to keep guard. No, he hasn't, so I'm going to come across and try and pressure this pawn. See where the queen moves to. This pawn is loose, so you could go after this, like, say, across. If we take here and a check, I can blockade it. So I have to hope I'm not blundering. I could be, of course. If I take with a bishop, rook across, and we're in a natural pin, but my knight does guard my rook. Oh, he's... what? What's he done now? He just given away a rook. He just blundered the game away. He must have thought he'd seen some tactic there, hasn't he? He's just seen some tactic or other. Or he's calculated something and he's mixed his move order up and he's meant to move the queen and then play next move. He's like, he's thinking ahead. I assume that's what's happened. Let's just see what it was in engine language. I want to check the opening and see if we did go wrong. So 23 moves, so it's not much more than an opening anyway. They're the move times for both players. Let's just request an analysis and see how we've actually played it. But did I go wrong in the opening? Was black better? Yeah, black was a little better. 1.5. So we've gone wrong round about move 11 until move 14. So just them few moves. So it's flatline level the first 11 moves. Then we just gone wrong. So we played 95% versus 77. BPL 1547. But my opponents will be really skewed just by that rook blunder at the end. So this is all flatline level. Literally, well, I mean, not 0.3, but at our level, it's essentially flatline level. Queen to c1 was my mistake. I should have played h3 immediately, attacking the bishop. And the engine suggests that the bishop would take there instead of going back. So presumably if it goes back, I'll play g4 then. h3, bishop takes. That's just the engine line. Excuse me. So down here, it's 1.5 better for black. And this is why you've gone wrong. Yeah, keep the bishop back over. As soon as you come in, it's allowed me to unwind the position. It's suddenly 1.4 to me now, so that's a blunder. No, it's just common sense development moves here. Just trying to get rid of that pawn. Though here, you should have taken the rook first. I did wonder whether knight down might be a move as well, but it's not being flagged. The engine is suggesting just rook takes, then maybe develop. That's what should have happened. Rook takes, queen to a5 to hit the pawn. That's what black should have done. And at the end here, it's just a simple one-move mistake. So the engine's suggesting drop your queen back, give up on this pawn, just regroup and say you've lost a pawn. And I think my opponent's just been thinking ahead. They've mixed the move order up, or they've just simply forgotten that the rook's covering there. Just simply forgotten about it. So it's just a lucky one-move blunder in reality there at our level. So it is what it is.